We are honored to welcome two very special guests. His Grace Srimad Sankarshan Das Adhikari is an initiated disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada for over 53 years. Under the order of his spiritual master, he has been serving ISKCON in various capacities and initiating devotees since 2000. He travels all over the world with his wife, Her Grace Srimati Vishnupriya Devi Dasi. And so we're all very excited to have them here and with us today. These devotees have spent decades spreading Krishna consciousness around the world, and it's a real blessing to have them here with us today. So let's give them a big Hari Bol for having them here.
Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
Thank you very much. This reminds me of the first time I heard Prabhupada speak publicly, actually within his presence. This is back in 1971, June. Srila Prabhupada had just flown in. We meet him at the airport. He came to the Ratha Yatra site. He got on ladies about this cart. He gave the most wonderful lecture. It was my first lecture. It was so thrilling and exciting to be at Prabhupada's lotus feet and hearing Prabhupada speak. There were 300 devotees and about 3,000 hippies. And Prabhupada, first of all, he explained philosophy, and then a little Lita later on. He quoted this nice verse that we just recited. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Kati Bhavi Bhava to me. My dear Lord Jagannath, please come to my vision. He explained this is actually the purpose of human life. We're meant to see God. Please don't do that. Things like causes damage to my hearing. Don't do this. Turn it off, it's a problem. Don't do that to me again. I have damaged ears and this can cause deafness in my ear. Please don't do this ever again. This human form of life is meant for seeing God. We come up to the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the aquatics, the birds. We come through all these species of life, and now in this human form of life we're meant to be able to see God. But we're not seeing God, we're only seeing Waterloo. Because our eyes are covered by the material nature. So this process of Krishna consciousness is a scientific method on how to recover our vision, beginning with hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. Prabhupada quoted this very nice verse from the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vadochanena Santak Sadaiva Hidayeshvalokayanti Yang Shama Shamyama Chintagana Svarupam Govindam Adipurusham Jamaham Jami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, he was Shama Sundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes of the pure devotees see in the heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tuned with the salve of love. So how do we get that awakening? That comes by hearing from the bona fide spiritual master and the sadhus. Submissive hearing is the key. We shouldn't be so busy doing this and that if you can't sit and submissively hear. Because this hearing actually cleanses away the dirt in the heart which is blocking our vision. So we hear the lectures, we hear the chanting, we hear the bhajans. You see, this hearing is very, very, very essential. Because by hearing we get back to being who we actually are. We're not these bodies, we're misidentifying them as blood and flesh. Can you imagine how stupid it is for an eternal spiritual being who's eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, to identify himself or herself with a temporary bag of stool and urine? Isn't that ridiculous? But that's what we're doing. We're embracing this bodily conception. We've been duped by the material propaganda mongers to thinking we can be happy. We've got to find these senses. The eyes, the nose, the ears, the tongue, the belly, the genitals. We've been trained to think this is how I can become happy. by serving these senses. You see. It doesn't make any sense to serve the senses because it's not us. When you sit down and take prasadam, do you put your shirt sleeve in the prasadam, try to get nourished by putting your shirt sleeve in the prasadam? No. So in the same way, we're trying to become happy by gratifying these material senses. So we should hear from great authorities like Lord Sri Krishna himself. Dehi nos minyata dehe kumaram jovanam jaratatayam tarabatir diristatanamuyatam. The embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age. The soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So, the aim of this Krishna conscious movement, the aim of Prabhupada's attempt is to teach us how to become self-realized soul, not to keep drowning in this ocean of ignorance. So Prabhupada has given us these wonderful books, he's given this wonderful movement, the Krishna conscious movement, is to facilitate our awakening. This is for everyone, it's not just for Indians. Do I look like an Indian? This is for everyone. You see. This movement is for everyone, in every part of the world. Russia, China, Argentina, I call it. It's meant for everyone in every part of the world. You see. Australia, Pakistan. This is a universal science. We're not talking about Hinduism here. This is a transcendental science that applies to everyone. Whether you're a Christian, a Hindu, a Sikh, a Jain, a Muslim, or whatever you may be, whatever approach you may be taking, the ultimate perfection is come to pure love of God. God has unlimited names. Some call him Krishna, some call him Jehovah, some call him Allah. He has many different names, but the personality is one. Just like you're drinking water, in Spanish it's called agua. If I take agua or take water, it's the same thing. It's the same thirst quenching. And that reminds me, in this lecture, Prabhupada told us, he said, you are all seeing God. That's what he told us. Because Krishna says, I'm the light of the sun. So now we're seeing the sunlight, isn't it? If there's no sunlight, it'd be completely black, pitch black here, wouldn't it? So we're all seeing the sunlight. And then Prabhupada says, Rasaham Mapsakonteya. Krishna says, I am the taste of the water. He told us every day you're drinking water, once, twice, thrice, more than that every day. Every time you drink water, if you remember that Krishna is the taste of the water, immediately become Krishna conscious. To become Krishna conscious is not a very difficult job. Prabhupada told us it simply requires practice. You may say, oh, why practice? I'm actually a devotee of Krishna by nature. Why do I have to practice it? Well, we've been out of practice for a long time. There's some famous violinist. He was an award-winning violinist. He's the most famous violinist in the whole world. Then he got stuck in a desert island for 30 years. And now he has to regain his violin skills, you see, by practice. He has it in him, but for 30 years he's on a desert island with no violin, you see. Now by practice he can get it back, you see. So in the same way, we're actually pure devotees of Krishna by nature, but we're out of practice. We've been caught up in this 8,400,000 species for millions, billions of lifetimes. So now we have to get back into sync, get resynchronized with our actual identity. And that is taught by the bona fide sadhus, by the bona fide spiritual master, by Krishna's teachings in the Gita. You understand these points? Are you with me? You tuned in? Yes. I see many people who aren't really tuned in. Their minds are going somewhere else. So please take advantage of this opportunity to hear these teachings coming from the Vedic wisdom. Please don't let your mind go somewhere else. Please tune in, because when you tune into this knowledge, it penetrates into your heart and delivers you from ignorance. It's too loud? Too soft? Okay. So please tune in. Turn on your actual identity as a spiritual being, and you face unlimited happiness. This pastime of Ratha Yatra is very significant. Prabhupada explains how 5,000 years ago, at the end of the Kalpa, the day of Brahma, there was a full solar eclipse in India. And to overcome the inauspicious effects of the solar eclipse, the devotees would go to a holy place, Kurukshetra. So it was a big event. The Brijavasis all came, the Dwarkavasis all came, and now for the first time, they're with Krishna again. So Radharani is back again with the beloved Krishna once again. But there's something wrong. This is the Dwarka Krishna. This is not my Vrindavan Krishna. I'm on my Vrindavan Krishna. So in the Pajavali, Rupa Goswami has given this very nice verse where Radharani is speaking, if I can remember the verse. Priyasayam Krishna Sarachari Kurakchacha Militas Tadaham Sarada Tadidam Ubhaya Sangama Sukham Tatat Natna Kelam Padura Murila Panchamajushe Manomade Kalindi Vipanayas Payayati. She's telling her Gopi girlfriend, my dear Gopi girlfriend, now I'm here in this Kurukshetra field, my beloved Krishna. It's nice, but I want my Krishna in Vrindavan. That's the Krishna I want. I want to be beneath the banks of the trees. There, I want to hear him playing the fifth note on the flute in that forest of Vrindavan. Madhura Murali Panchamajushe. I want to hear that fifth note. I was thinking, why the fifth note? Why not the fourth note? Well, that fifth note has a special flavor for Radharani. We can't understand them from our limited perspective. For us, any note would be good. But Radharani especially wants to hear the fifth note of Krishna's flute. Because a special flavor, a special rasa, a special taste she gets from that fifth note. So, but he's not in Vrindavan. He's in Kurukshetra. He's going back to Dwarka. So Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Radharani, feeling his pathetic situation. I'm separated with my Krishna. Now he's in Dwarka. He's not in Vrindavan anymore. So Lord Chaitanya is dancing in the Ratha Yatra festival in the mood, and this should be the mood when you pull on the ropes. Now we must bring Krishna back to Vrindavan to save the life of the Brajavasis. They've been worse than dead in Krishna's separation, so now let us save the Brajavasis by bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan, Pull that rope, bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. So Lord Chaitanya was dancing in ecstasy, feeling the great pang of Radharani and the Brajavasis in the separation of Krishna, wanting to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. So what is that lesson for us in this regard? What is the lesson? Well, we are now also separated from Krishna, by our lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. So we should feel that separation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has very nicely stated this in his beautiful bhajan. Kabe habe badosedi nama. Napadada gucci, shudaname ruchi. Kriba bole hambe hridoye sanchar. When my offenses ceasing, taste for the name increasing, when in my heart will your mercy shine? Kambe hambe bolo se dinama. When, oh, when will that day be mine? So this is the Brajavasis are wondering, when will that day be mine when Krishna comes back to Vrindavan? We can also hanker, when will that day come when pure love of God becomes awakened in my heart? Now I'm chanting japa, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When my rounds to get over, so I can take a nap, or whatever it is. We're not chanting in that mood of pure bhakti. So what to do? We can hanker for that day, hanker for that moment, where they can actually chant Hare Krishna in pure love. This is Bhaktivinoda is praying. When will that day be mine? When my offense is ceasing, taste for the name increasing. Kabbe habe bodo sedi namar. When will that day be mine? So, why should we hanker? You say, wouldn't I be depressed if I'm missing something? You see? I remember when I was a non-devotee, still looking for the meaning of life, a very depressed college student. In the hall of the drama building, one student said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm depressed." He said, "Don't say that." So in the material world it's considered taboo to admit you're suffering. You have to pretend, how you doing? Fine. How you doing? Fine. You have to lie. Even though you're suffering within your heart, you have to lie and say, fine. In fact, you've been saying it so long you think you are fine. Fine, fine, fine. But I'm getting old, I'm sick and dying. What's so fine about that? So we have to understand from the great sadhus, these great enlightened teachers like Prabhupada and these Vaishnava Acharyas, we have to understand we're not fine. We're suffering right now. Doesn't matter if I have a nice bank balance, a nice car, I have all the modern technologies, I got the best facilities, but it's not really fine. It's not really sublime. It's a hellish nightmare. Let's face the facts. I'm stuck in a body that's going to the crematorium or the grave or the jackals in the street. That's where I'm heading. Okay? So we have to come to a higher level of consciousness. What's that called? Krishna consciousness. And what's the movement called? The International Society for Krishna Consciousness. To bring it back to what state? Krishna consciousness, you see. So let's not cheat ourselves, ladies and gentlemen and kids. Let us not cheat ourselves by hanging on to bodily misidentification, thinking I'm doing fine here. Better to realize I'm suffering, and how can I get out of this suffering? That is actual intelligence. So let us take advantage of this great festival, about the Yatra festival. We're totally indebted to my wonderful godbrother Jayananda Prabhu, who was instrumental in getting this festival started. He worked so hard, it was unbelievable. In New York, he actually was suffering leukemia. He had lumps in his body. He was in very bad shape, but he wanted to keep it a secret. And he's working so hard on the verge of death. He was working so hard and dancing in ecstasy in front of the carts. You've seen the picture. How he's dancing in ecstasy in front of the carts down Fifth Avenue in New York City, you see, to make Prabhupada's dream come true. Can you imagine what Prabhupada felt? Going down Fifth Avenue, the most prestigious street, the most prestigious country in the world, most prestigious city in the world, New York City, where he started a little storefront with only 40 rupees. If you read the story of Prabhupada getting started, it was very tough for him. He stayed with some family temporarily in Butler, Pennsylvania. Then he had named him some yogi in New York City, one of these polished so-called gurus. Uptown yoga teachers who attracted the widows. He stayed with them for a little while, then he put him in his yoga studio far away. I didn't want Swamiji too close because he was preaching. Then he had to walk many blocks to come and cook in the cold, and then even that wasn't practical because he couldn't do any programs on his own. He rented a little tiny room, which is hardly big enough to lay down in. It's a little tiny room. And then the janitor stole his tape recorder and dictaphone, and it was really a bad situation he was in. And then one of the hippies told him about the Lower East Side. And he gave him a space in his loft in what used to be an old factory, in a neighborhood where the drunks were lying all up and down the sidewalk. Can you imagine what Prabhupada went through? To get into his flat, he'd have to step over the drunks who were lying asleep in the stairwell. Can you imagine what he went through? With no money, how to pay the rent, nothing. But Prabhupada had this intense love, intense dedication to his spiritual master. I must establish Krishna consciousness in the Western world, because if the Westerners take to it, the whole world will take to it. So because of Prabhupada's sincere dedication, his conviction, his strong conviction, how did Prabhupada convince us hippies to become Krishna conscious? His conviction was stronger than the Mount Everest. He had unflinching conviction, you see. Somebody say, well, how you convince the non-devotees to become devotees? Well, you have to be convinced yourself. Prabhupada did it. He convinced the LSD takers to become devotees. Illicit sex mongers, LSD takers become devotees. To give up all that nonsense, become dedicated workers in the mission of Chaitanya because of his conviction, you see. So if you're completely convinced, you can have a very powerful impact to spread this movement here in Waterloo. So the way to become convinced is you hear from those who are convinced. By hearing from Prabhupada, his conviction rubbed off on us, and we also became convinced. So try to hear from those who are convinced very submissively, associate with those who are very convinced, and you'll become more and more convinced until all the doubts are gone from your brain, and then you'll be very empowered to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Anybody have any questions? Would you like to add something, Guru Manaji? Anybody have any questions? Everybody's satisfied now, ready to become pure devotees of Krishna, kick out all the lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion from your heart, and all those rascal qualities, kick it out with boot. You're not welcome, Mr. Lust. You're not welcome, Mr. Anger. You're not welcome, Mr. Greed. You're not welcome, Mr. Envy. You've been camping out in my heart long enough. Now you're being evicted. Here's your eviction notice, yes. See if I get my hearing working. It's not working right now. Let me try if I get it working. Try to get it working. 1 minute, I gotta get my hearing aid dead on me. Okay, now it's working.
This might be very conventional question, but again I'd like to ask you.
It went dead on me again. What she said?
Say the question will repeat.
No, my hearing aid went dead again.
No, but she will say the question and he will repeat.
Let me hear from him.
Say the question.
Why is the path to Bhakti so difficult?
Why is the path to Bhakti so difficult?
Why is the path to Bhakti so difficult?
Why is the path to Bhakti so difficult? Actually, it's simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Could you please repeat?
Repeat, please repeat.
Please repeat, she said.
It's simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked. So if you have a cheating mentality, you find it very difficult. If you have a simple, humble mood like Arjuna, Karpanya dosha pahatha sabhava, I'm confused about my duty, please tell me clearly what is best for me, I'm your disciple, fully surrender to you, please instruct me. If you have the mood of Arjuna, it's very simple. If you have the mood of a cheater, a rascal, you'll never be able to do it. So give up your cheating mentality, my dear young girl. Give up your cheating mentality. Be like, follow Arjuna's footsteps. And then you'll be very simple for you to become Krishna's pure devotee.
Simple for the one who wants to act as a servant.
Next. My hearing aids are totally messed up. I don't know what's going
You
on.
can say.
Guru Mataji is saying, is it simple for one who wants to become a servant?
Yes, Guru Maharaji's point is very good. If you want to become Krishna's servant, it's very simple. You want to be the master? Forget it. Be in the mood of servant. I want to serve Krishna, I want to serve Guru, I want to serve the Vaishnava. Always in the mood of serving, 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 serving. Then it's very easy. Anything else? Okay.
My question is, on Rath Yatra festival, instead of making it as my sense enjoyment, how to serve the senses of Jagannath?
On Rath Yatra, how can I make this as not serving my senses but make it for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath?
Why only the Rath Yatra? Why not every minute? Rath Yatra is only for a few hours. Why not every minute? How I can make every minute for serving the Lord instead of serving my senses? Well, the good news is, as Prabhupada explains, becoming Krishna conscious is in your highest self-interest. So you're not leaving yourself out. You want to serve yourself, but do it perfectly. The best service you can do for yourself is become Krishna's pure devotee. Because when you say, why should the hand feed the stomach? Why can't the hand just enjoy the food separately? I don't want to serve the stomach. But when you serve the stomach, the hand gets the nourishment it needs. So become Krishna conscious is the best thing you can ever do for yourself. So don't be foolish selfish, be intelligent selfish. That's all we're saying. Be intelligent selfish. I say fully surrender to Krishna. Anything else? Oh, we stop here. That's it? Okay. We thank you very much for tuning in. Take this process seriously, as I'm explaining to you today. Your lives will be unlimitedly sublime. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Shri Balaram ki jai, Jagannath Swami ki jai, Gaura Premananda.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone, for coming. If you'd like to personally meet Srila Gurudev, H.G.Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu, or Vishnupriya Mataji, you could do so. We'll be having them on the other side. We have a separate place where you can come and meet. You can see me for that. Those who don't know, he has a course that kind of is running for many, many years. And if you'd like to join, it's called joincourse.com. And that's a course where you can get a daily inspirational message, which you can use in your spiritual life to kind of make it more simpler, as it was mentioned in the class. So if you're not enrolled, you can definitely do that by going on joincourse.com. It is a free course, so there's no fees to it. It's just something for your spiritual benefit. Those who would like to also know a little bit more about him, we have some books on the side, which you can definitely give us a donation and take one for yourself at home so that it can benefit you. That also includes the Bhagavad Gita, from which the class was mostly kind of inspired from. Hare Krishna. So we'll move on to the next activities, and I'm going to hand over to our MC for the rest of the day.
Hare Krishna, everyone.